Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. For those of you new to the show, we are here to raise money for the nonprofit organization Called Up, whose mission is to give disadvantaged young ball players the equipment they need to play the game we all love. We also want to unite communities by improving or rebuilding baseball facilities in areas suffering economic or environmental hardship. At this time, you can support by purchasing t-shirts and other baseball-related apparel and accessories from 9plusus.com. 10% of all these sales go to the cause. Again, that's 9plusus.com. The number 9, plusus.com. 9plusus.com. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Baseball Together podcast, brought to you by 9plusus. Welcome to this week's episode of the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. I am Brad, and as always, I am joined by Brig.
What up, baseball family?
So we have a whole lot to talk about this week. This week was a whirlwind with the winter meetings, right? Like it felt like every single day there was something new, whether it was a rule change, somebody signing. Like, I honestly didn't think we were going to see these Boris guys sign until after the new year. I thought it was going to have to wait a lot longer, but I guess he learned his lesson last year with Bryce Harper that the dollar amount isn't going to go up when we get into spring training. Okay, let's go ahead and get him signed. Strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah, totally.
So let's start there. So we have Steven Strasburg got 7 years, $245 million, which I thought was funny because that was the initial offer from the Yankees for Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Which obviously that number didn't come from anywhere, right? The fact that it's exactly the same. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, out of the blue, really.
Oh, yeah, I know. Just what a coincidence that Steven Strasburg gets the exact same amount of money that Garrett Cole was offered by the Yankees. Huh. I don't know.
Yep.
But I thought that was a good job by the Nats. They need to keep Strasburg around. And you know, this whole time I figured Strasburg would stay. And
yeah, I didn't. I thought he'd leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And see, like, for me, I don't know a whole lot about Steven Strasburg, but watching that interview with him when he was named the World Series MVP.
Right, at the very end, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this guy doesn't seem like he has the personality that he wants to go chase the big bucks and chase all the fame and fortune that comes with playing in New York or L.A. or anything. I was like, he seems like a down-to-earth homebody who's like comfortable. He's got roots in Washington and probably just wants to stay there. Like, that's kind of the vibe I got from him. I don't know if anybody else got that. I don't know if you saw that,
did.
but yeah, he that's kind of what he seemed like to me, and that's why I thought he was going to stay.
He looked at the car they gave him like one time. He was like, "Oh yeah, cool, thanks," and then he didn't care.
I know. Oh, okay. I would have preferred a truck, but whatever.
Yeah, right. That's what I was gonna say. Where's the truck? Where's the pickup?
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a 4x4 guy.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's hilarious. It's like, does it come in real tree? Just kidding. I don't know if he's that kind of guy, but
can I get oak camo on that?
Can I? That's exactly how it felt.
It is really how it felt. So I'm not surprised.
Even his wife didn't care. Didn't seem to care.
I know. Like,
it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's really why I wasn't surprised that he left that he stayed because he just seemed like he's comfortable and just kind of does his thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just thought he'd end up somewhere else because the Nats were getting rid of everybody.
Well, and
not everybody, but
they said that they weren't going to keep Strasburg and Rendon. And honestly, the smarter play, I mean, as much as I like Steven Strasburg and as great as he is, the smarter play would have been to keep Rendon because, I mean, this is what everybody's been saying, and this is what I thought too, is that a bat ages better than an arm.
No, for sure,
right?
Totally.
So, I mean, 7 years from now, Strasburg's going to be 38, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you know,
up
they're
in that range.
Yeah, they're getting their value on the front end of the contract and then paying for loyalty later. But at the same time, I mean, we've seen what's happened to Clayton Kershaw. We've seen what happened to Felix Hernandez. that it's not pretty as those power pitchers get older. It really is not pretty. So that could be some trouble for the Nats. But for now, they've got a good arm to anchor. Well, I'm not just anchor, but to pitch side by side with Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
It'll be interesting.
Max
to see how
is their guy.
Out. Yeah, he is their guy for sure.
So you bring up a bunch of good arguments that translate over to the Garrett Cole conversation about bats aging better than arms and how ugly it can get over long periods of time.
Oh, man.
What in the name of all that is holy or whatever, I don't know, we should come up with a slur. There should be a slur specifically for situations like the Garrett Cole deal.
I don't even know. It could be like on that commercial a long time ago. No making up words. Blurklefickle.
Blurklefickle.
That's what it feels like. That's all I could think of when I saw. What was it? 9 years for 324.
Yeah,
9 years. $324 million. That is so much money. One of my favorite shows growing up was Wings. Did you ever watch Wings?
Sure. So
anyway, there's an episode where one of the guys, he's like, I'm a hypnotist. I can hypnotize anybody. And so they're going around the room, and he hypnotizes his brother. That anytime somebody says tortillas, he has to cluck like a chicken. So then there's another guy who fakes like he like goes along with it, plays like he got he got hypnotized. Then he says that he robbed a bank and the money's hidden in his backyard. Like, how much is it? And he says, like $2 million or something like that. And the guy goes, "Oh, that's a lot of tortillas." So anytime anybody talks about a lot of money, my first thought is, that's a lot of tortillas.
That's awesome.
So Garrett Cole got a lot of tortillas.
He gets a
lot of tortillas. That's too much though.
No, it's too much. It's too long a contract. We have to talk about it in separate terms. We have to talk about it in terms of the dollars.
Right.
But we also have to talk about it in terms of the years of production he'll be able to give, because 9 years for a guy who's 29.
I mean, that puts him in the same spot as Strasburg. They'll be 38.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same. And everybody's like, we're looking at another kind of CC Sabathia deal. And I'm like, well,
we saw
I hope it's yeah, well, yeah. So and CC was magnificent for a long time. It was great.
He was, yeah, major contributor, major role, anchored that rotation forever. But then at the end, it's kind of like, well,
we still have to pay him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. 7 years, got it. Get the guy for 7 years.
Oh, especially at 29.
Yeah,
that's a great
7
deal.
years makes sense.
Yeah, it's too bad that he didn't take that offer initially, because now the Yankees kind of like, go.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many other teams around the league were willing to go 9 years for him, or if the Yankees were bidding against themselves. Because
the Yankees often bid against themselves.
It's true, they do. But there's all that talk about how he wants to go back to California. He played at UCLA. He's from the West Coast. It's like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Nope. These guys are traveling all over the country for, they're home for 81 games is all, but then they're home for a week and they're away for 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
But I mean, he only spends so much time at home, and during the off season, you can live wherever you want.
Yeah.
Because I think Bryce Harper and his wife, I think they live in Vegas during the off season.
I think so.
It doesn't make sense to me. People like, oh, he's from there, he's going to want to go home. Not necessarily. Because obviously Garrett Cole is a guy who was chasing fame and fortune, and I felt that was evidenced by the fact that he's wearing that Scott Boras hat in the post World Series press conference.
I am not employed by the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Or by the team, or whatever he said.
Yeah, exactly. We saw where his loyalty was. It was to his agent and to his wallet. And I'm not surprised that he took the highest offer at all.
No.
I mean, he might have gone to Miami if they offered him that much money.
Totally. But what in the crap are we doing with a 9-year contract?
Yeah.
Oh, I just think it was foolish for 9 years. I don't care that they paid him $324. I'm just upset about the 9 years.
At least it's not 13 years.
No, seriously. Seriously. I had that same thought. I was like, well,
it could be worse.
Oh, my gosh, it could be worse. Now, so all of this is happening because of the upcoming collective bargaining agreement. We've talked about this a million times. This is Scott Boras and these players seeing the writing on the wall, because in 1 year from now, this may never be possible ever again.
And to be honest, I hope it's not ever possible ever again.
I do too. This is out of control.
It is out of control. It's one of these things where the owners almost need to be protected from themselves, but also it's Scott Boras running amok, and he's ruining, like, I don't want to say he's ruining the league, but financially he is. He's handcuffing.
Well, he's definitely whoring up the market.
Yeah, he is. But the thing is that you don't see many other agents doing the same thing. Like, yeah, Manny Machado got a bunch of money last year, but I feel like he was pretty much worth it. I mean, he's great offensively, great defensively.
Sure.
Mike Trout got that massive deal after Bryce Harper signed his, which that's still a bargain for the Angels, by the way.
Still.
Because he is a once-in-a-generation player. He's the best player in baseball. It's going to be a long time before we see anybody like him again, I think.
Agreed.
But those are two guys who are not Boras clients who got massive deals, and we don't see it with anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, it's his fault. It's his fault, Brig.
It's his fault. It's Scott's fault, Brad. I agree with you. Kill the beast. Get your pitchfork.
We should. Get our torches and pitchforks out and run them out of town. But another Boras client. Yeah, good for him. I mean, this is the thing. Is I was thinking to myself, I was like, I just pictured him as these deals were coming in. We'll get to Rendon in a minute, but as they're coming in, I pictured him in his hotel room with just sitting there at the table on the phone or like on speakerphone, just like, I don't know, it might not be enough, and flipping through the pages of a design book that has like drapes and carpet and wall paint for the wall and stuff, just like deciding what he's gonna do when he remodels his guest house with all that money, because he earned $40 million this week.
Yeah, this week.
$40 million. I saw a graphic yesterday that said that, I think you posted on the VIP group, or maybe your wife did. That Le'Veon Bell sat out an entire season just so he could sign a deal that was worth in whole $35 million.
That's right.
These guys' agent got 40 this week.
Yep.
It's insane.
It's insane. So before we move on from Garrett Cole, my wife posted this amazing breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Of Garrett Cole's numbers and what the dollar amount equates to. If my computer will pull its head out and show me the money, then I will be able to do this. Every time I think of Scott Boras, I think of Jerry Maguire. I can't.
Oh, for good reason. For good reason.
It's so funny. That's just what I imagine him being like. I don't know.
I'm sure that's how he starts every negotiation. Show me the money. Show me the money, fellas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. Okay. So Garrett Cole, with his 9-year, $324 million contract, if we take his 2019 performance, he would be making $1.9 million per start. Excuse me, 1.09. 1.09 million per start.
That's every 5 days he's making that much money.
Yeah, right. He makes over $169,000 per inning pitched. He makes over $110,000 per strikeout. $110,000 just for a strikeout. He is going to make almost $10,000 per pitch thrown. It's $9,200 just to throw a pitch. If he repeats his performance, here's what I think. No, he won't. Here's what I think's happening is going to happen. We are going to get the collective we New York fans. We're going to get out of the 9 years. I hope we get 5. Well, I mean, I hope we get 9, but if I'm being realistic, I expect 5 really good years out of him. I hope it starts in 2020. I don't know that it will. And then there's going to be potential for injury, and then he's going to fall off. So all his stuff's going to lose its magic at the end of this contract, and then he's going to sit there and hopefully he will find a loyalty hopefully 9 years will give him enough time to be a clubhouse guy and a cohesion guy and a leader so that he can lead the way CeCe did at the end of his contract, so that he can be in the clubhouse and be a presence. That's the same thing I hope for Bryce Harper. It's the same thing I hope for Mike Trout and all of these guys. Like, as they mature, I need Dustin Pedroia from these guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I need a guy who can carry the banner but isn't playing all the time.
Right. Yeah, and the thing is, though, is I don't know if Garrett Cole's that guy. He hasn't seemed like he has been.
That's what I'm saying.
I
hope he finds it.
That's part of the reason the Pirates were so eager to trade him when they did.
Huh.
And the Astros, and I don't know if there was like some kind of fractured relationship with the Astros because they didn't use him in Game 7 of the World Series, but maybe they were just kind of like, nah, we've got Verlander, we've got Greinke, we're all right. We don't need him in our clubhouse.
They did get snubbed for sure.
Yeah, they came in as that quote unquote mystery team later, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's all very interesting.
But let's go ahead and move on from Garrett Cole on to Anthony Rendon, who actually got the same deal as Steven Strasburg, but his was with the Angels.
Oh, baby.
I'm not surprised that the Angels got him. And part of it is because, Joe Madden, he was saying that they needed to make a splashy signing. But also about 24 hours before that deal was done, they cleared some cap space. They traded away Cozart, their third baseman. They traded away another, I think it might have been a minor league infielder. I didn't recognize the name, but all they got back was cash. Straight cash, homie. That's all they got back.
That's all they got.
So I texted you and I was like, it's happening. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Rendon to the Angels, because I saw that deal and I was like, and then sure enough, it's the same thing. The nice thing for the Angels is that it's not the Pujols deal. Like, that's
right. Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's got he's got more money than Pujols got at the time, but given the market, it's less. Less years. I think it'll work out better for him because he's still in his prime. Pujols was not in his prime when he got to Anaheim.
True story.
They were signing a legacy player, and I heard that was a big thing with him too. Why he signed there, because they said, "Okay, let's focus on your legacy," and that's why he went there. But Rendon,
that's cool.
Rendon can still be a major contributor to this team.
No, daily, yeah, absolutely.
And that's
offensively,
the big thing too,
defensively, everything.
That's a big thing too. Is daily contributor. Is that they're not paying every 5 days for him to go out there and do his thing. They're paying for him to probably hit behind Mike Trout, protect him so he's not going to get walked as much. He's going to get pitches to hit, which, that could do wonders for that team offensively.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
well, and Tommy LaStella's in there now too, so
yeah.
It's fine. It's time. It's time that the Angels built this team, and they've got the right guy leading them to do it. So, I'm excited.
Here's the thing: is that team? They have a really good infield. I mean, they've got Rendon at third. They've got Andrelton Simmons at shortstop, and you mentioned LaStella at second. That's a good infield. The problem is their pitching.
Totally.
Ooh, woof, that pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Ohtani can come back and be anything like he was before TJ, before he had Tommy John, I mean, that's a good start. But man, they've got to figure something out with that pitching staff.
It'll come together.
Yeah,
they know something we don't. Yeah,
they've got some pretty good prospects from what I understand. I don't know, but prospects are that's not a sure thing ever.
Fickle, yeah, totally.
Fickle, that's a perfect way to describe it. That is a perfect way to describe prospects. Fickle. Who's to say? It's a gamble for sure.
Speaking of gambling, so Major League Baseball will no longer be testing for marijuana.
Right.
And is that a gamble, Brad? What do you think?
No, I don't think it's a gamble, because everybody's doing it already anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen, and there's been studies that prove that it's safer than opioids.
Oh yeah, for pain management, totally.
Yeah. And we see Exhibit A with Tyler Skaggs, what happened there with opioids. And this is something that I heard this week. listen to David Sampson's podcast. It's Nothing Personal every day. And one of the things he talked about with this was that, and I don't remember if he said this is the way it should be or this is the way it's going to be. That if somebody does test positive for opioids, they're going to go into a treatment program instead of a suspension. I mean, obviously a suspension will be part of it, but I think they'll still be getting paid as though they were on the IL.
Right.
But they're going to go into a treatment program because Major League Baseball does not want that to happen again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is another thing he talked about. This is a big thing, and this is what I assumed was the case, and he confirmed it for me. So, in like the 50s and 60s, we heard a lot about greenies in clubhouses.
Yeah. For
a lot of guys were on amphetamines, and it's because the season is so grueling. It's long. You're going back to back. You're playing a game on Saturday night, and then you're going back and playing a day game on Sunday. That's exhausting.
Oh, for sure.
Baseball is a game where you have to be focused, or A, you're not going to hit the ball, B, you're not going to field the ball, and C, you could get hurt if you can't focus.
Yeah.
So that's why it was so common. But they got rid of the greenies, quote unquote. Mostly, I don't know. I'm sure there's some guys who are still taking them.
Sure.
But now it's been replaced by energy drinks.
Yep.
That basically they've got vending machines in the clubhouses that are stocked full of energy drinks, and guys are just drinking them left and right. Which I get. I'm a parent.
Oh yeah.
And
totally. Yeah.
But the thing that's hard is if you're all jacked up on an energy drink for a 4-hour baseball game, and then the game's over at 11:30, you want to go home and get some sleep. That's
super
tough.
nope.
Yeah, super nope. Absolutely. So
then you take a downer, right?
Yep, exactly. What kind of downer are you going to take? Well, there's Ambien, which not
was
the
a
best
benzo,
choice.
Right?
You've got opioids, horrible choice.
Horrible
or you've
choice.
got marijuana. You can smoke it or you can eat it.
Yep.
And we know there's a lot of guys in Major League Baseball. I'm sure it's not as common as it used to be, who smoke cigarettes anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
And we've seen in the NBA this year, which was in the last couple of weeks, that edibles are pretty common in the NBA. It's gonna, maybe that's the thing that guys turn to. Maybe they just have them available in the clubhouse, depending on
that would be
the
interesting.
state they're in. Maybe the Rockies just have a bowl of edible gummy bears and marijuana gummy bears that they grab a handful, pop them, and take an Uber home and go to sleep. I don't know.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know.
But I do feel like, and there's probably going to be a lot of people who disagree with me, but I do feel like it is a much safer option and a better option than, especially since you can still dose it out. Say, hey fellas, no more than 2 gummy bears. We saw it happen to Deion Waiters. And for those of you who don't know, he ate too many gummy bears or something like that in a pack, and he ended up having a seizure. So there you've got precedence for this is why you don't take too many of these things, right?
Yeah, right.
And my other thing too is that marijuana is not a performance enhancer.
Yeah, no, totally.
Right? Like you don't want to go up to the plate high because the ball will be in the catcher's glove and then you'll start swinging.
It'd be like that episode that when the grab bag when you and Quinn were talking in slow mo.
yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you think about this, Brig? I mean, I obviously have a lot of thoughts and opinions on this, but what do you think about it?
First, I agree with you on the performance enhancing part of it. It doesn't even factor into the conversation.
Yeah.
So no issue there. It's already happening. Mm-hmm. So like there's that, right? You gotta manage the reality from an organizational standpoint.
Yeah.
But then the third point I'll make is that I agree with you that it is a better pain management tool, I would assume. I have no experience with marijuana myself personally, although I would love to have that experience. It's just not legal where I am. And I spent so much time in the Army where it's not legal for that either. So,
right.
But I deal with pain, chronic pain every day. So I think about it. I hear about it a lot. It's in a lot of conversation, and I refuse to take opiate pain medication. And even when I had both my back surgeries, I was very sort of conservative's not even close to the right word. I mean, I just sat there and suffered instead of taking opioid painkillers because I just wasn't gonna give my life over to an addiction like that. So, so I, from the pain management side of things, I say super duper. What am I trying to say? Yes, like it makes tons of sense. But there is a growing body of evidence that marijuana causes brain damage.
Right.
And I worry about that for me, for the players, for anybody, it doesn't matter who you are. And so here we are with these guys signing 9-year deals. And if now marijuana is tacitly accepted by removing, the punishment for using it, then I think that we're going to see, potentially these guys' performance get worse sooner. So, and that will devalue the product, and that will devalue the experience for the fans, and it will be a financial burden on the teams, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's my biggest concern. I also think, though, that we're going to see a lot of guys just continue to not participate,
right,
and partake, because these are performance athletes. They're obsessed with being the best, and in one personality that translates to smoking a doobie or eating a gummy bear or whatever. But in another guy, it's going to translate into absolute abstinence and avoidance. So I don't know. I think that it depends on the situation. It's probably a case-by-case thing. Obviously, pain plays a big role in that conversation from guy to guy, and I'm interested to see what happens. Of course, I also think we'll never know. Truly.
Right. Especially since they're not testing for it, like we're not going to really find out. And I totally agree with you that anybody who's using it is going to continue to use it. Anybody who's not is probably going to continue to not.
Yeah.
Right.
Some margin guys will go back and forth, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, is if you're not one of those 9-year guys, 7-year deal guys, if you're using it too much and your performance dips, there's somebody right behind you in the minor leagues who can come up and take your spot.
Yep.
And that's something they're not afraid to do with Major League Baseball. Like, yeah, they've got guaranteed contracts, but at the same time, the league minimum is like $500,000, which is a dip in the bucket for as far as what these guys are making, So, send him by the wayside, pay him, DFA him, cut him, whatever, send him down to the minors, and then just bring somebody up in his place who's making the same amount of money, or maybe, I guess the league minimum, who's making the same amount of money, who's not eating too many gummy bears or smoking too much weed.
Yeah.
So.
We saw that with Jacoby Ellsbury. He's on the payroll for a real long time, doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, well, it is what it is, but we deal with it, and we'll get through it,
Yeah.
So.
They do. They will replace you, even if they have to still pay you. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true.
And I wonder if this will be something that will come up in the collective bargaining agreement, saying, okay, we're going to let you guys use marijuana as far as pain management, a cool down after a game, whatever. However, we can't be stuck in these contracts for these players who are abusing it, because we're not going to test for it. But if we got guys who are abusing and their performance dips because of it, we've got to have an out. We can't be having these guys on the payroll for 10 years. So, salary cap on contracts.
Please.
We've got to do something about it to help with it. And I really wonder if that's something that's going to come up in the collective bargaining agreement, that they're going to have their separate chips. And this is a bone that MLB is throwing the Players Association, saying, okay, you can have this, but we want this in return when the time comes.
Yep. Let's all be reasonable. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so we can only hope for that. Here's hoping for that salary cap, because the luxury tax threshold is obviously not enough. But
it's not working. Yeah,
not even a little bit. So
we need a salary cap, something fierce. And you know who needs to be the commissioner of baseball is Bob Costas.
Yes, he
does.
Look,
we haven't talked about the book thing yet, but we will. We'll do an episode on our favorite books on baseball. But for those of you listening, if you've not read Fair Ball by Bob Costas, I implore you to give it a read. Just listen to him. Just see what he has to say, because he's got some ideas that I think would change the face of baseball for the better.
I agree. I will say some of it doesn't age well, as far as like the the playoff races and stuff. But the majority of that book ages very well, and he brings up very good points. So there's a little teaser for you. We'll talk about it here. I think it's on the docket to come up here pretty soon.
It'll be great.
But yeah, so we'll go ahead and go through that. But let's go ahead and we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we've got some mailbag questions that we're going to answer for you. Hey babe, I'm headed to concessions. Do you want me to grab you something?
Yeah, anything, whatever you're getting.
Okay, I saw a burger. I'll probably grab that.
No, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, I think there's barbecue, probably some nachos.
I don't think I want either of those either. But just get me anything.
What do you want?
I saw a hot dog earlier.
Okay, I can do that.
Well, no.
Couples may quarrel, but baseball is for lovers. Shop the Lovers Collection at 9plusus.com.
Welcome back, baseball family. Now that we've had such a wonderful time away, we're back, and we are going to get into one of our favorite segments, is the mailbag.
Mailbag, all right, I love it. I have so much fun with the mailbag.
I do too.
So let's start with this one. This one's actually been sitting in my inbox for a long time. Been waiting to do this. And this is from Jason D'Agostino. He says, "Let's take it old school here. What was your main team in youth baseball? Not every league is affiliated with Little League World Series. Who were your team's rivals and favorite memory?" Brig, you go ahead and start us off with this because I know my answer, and I can go into great depths with it. But you go ahead and start us off. Let's start with your main team. Like, what was like either the team that you were for years or your favorite team that you played for?
Yeah. So for some reason, I always ended up playing for the Diamondbacks.
Oh, nice.
Because we had the MLB affiliated system. It was minor league minor. Back that up. It was Little League, right? So
yeah.
So we had the affiliates, and I was on the Diamondbacks like 2 or 3 years. I played for the Florida Marlins a couple of years.
Hey, I played for the Marlins 1 year.
Yeah, I played for the Braves 1 year, and it was really funny because and it was the Twins 1 year. So I never really had a main team that I was a part of, except that I do remember the Diamondbacks being prominent. Here's the thing, though, the great injustice of it all was that everybody would get together and have tryouts, and all of the it was like this day-long affair. All of the coaches were there with their little clipboards, and they were getting people assigned and assigning values to the speed and accuracy, and
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so we were running around, and I would recognize guys year after year that never made it onto my team, but always made it on to the Yankees. Always. And I was like, wait a minute. It took me way too long to realize what was going on, by the way. And I walked up to my dad one day, and I was like, Dad, what the crap? Right? Like, hang on a second. And they were the best team. They beat everybody all the time. Anyway, the guy who was the head coach of the Yankees team was in my neighborhood, and we knew them really well. Same church congregation. So it was like, well, okay, Dad, why don't you put in a word with what's his name over there? And how come I'm not wearing pinstripes, man? Playing on the best team in the town, you know? Like, what the crap? So my dad, bless his heart, you talk to the guy.
Yeah.
And he goes up to him and secures me a tryout with this team. And I'm like, we already did tryout. Okay, whatever. I'll go show up. So it wasn't a tryout. That's what they told me it was, but it was just a practice. They just threw me into this team's practice. And it was like, I'd missed like 2 weeks of their team practices. So lots of cohesion was established already. Everybody knew each other from years previous, etc. And I played my freaking guts out and thought I did okay, only to be told later on at the end of the day that I was not going to be playing for the team. And it broke my heart as a kid. It really did. It tore me up. And I sat there crying. I was like 10. And I was like, 11 maybe. And I sat there crying, couldn't understand why. And then my dad had to explain to me that they were never going to let me on the team. That the other guy did it as a personal favor to my dad, but that they had no intention ever of letting me on the team. And he didn't know that until he saw the guy interact with me during the practice, because he came with me.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah. So then I had to join another team, just kind of as the odd man out kind of thing. Worked out. It was fine. Had a great season. Loved it. But yeah, that's one of my oldest memories from Little League, and it's a rough one.
And you're still a Yankees fan.
Yeah, I learned a lot about life in that one afternoon.
Sounds like, man.
Yeah.
It's quite an experience.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I'm good now.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that you worked past it. So for me, I played with the same group for 3 years when I was 10, 11, and 12.
Mm-hmm.
My friend's dad put together this team of just like a group of us. We all went to elementary school together. Some of the guys lived on my street. Other guys lived across town. But we were all I guess we all played in the same city league, and he just kind of picked us all and put us all together. This was actually the team I learned how to play catcher on, because up to that point I had caught one game, and I guess he liked what he saw, and I think this is where it comes from. My dad was my coach when I was 9 when we played machine pitch, and so he had all the gear, and so I'd put it on sometimes. And my friend across the street who wanted to learn how to pitch, he ended up playing on the team with me, and he was a pitcher and a third baseman. But we'd get in my front yard, I'd put on the gear, and I'd catch for him. And so I wonder, and his dad was one of the coaches, and I wonder if that's part of the reason they said, "Hey, bring Brad, he'll catch,"
Sure, yeah.
And so I learned how to play catcher with this team, 10, 11, and 12. We started out as the Marlins. Like I said, when I was 10, we actually had to play a year up, because we were all supposed to play one more year of machine pitch, and they brought us up to play in the 11 and 12-year-old league, so we could learn how to hit live pitching. And there were a few older kids there were a few kids who belonged to that league. Like I had a good friend down the street who was 2 years older than me. He played on the team with us, and he kind of taught me how to hit live pitching, like the approach and everything. He's like, it's not going to be in the same spot every time. He's like, so he taught me how to pick up the ball and everything. And so that was, I couldn't believe it. So we were, out of the 12 kids on that team, 9 of us were a year younger than everybody else in the league, and we took third place in that league. Out of
wow.
8 or 9 teams. So we did pretty well. And so we all stuck together. We picked up a couple kids who didn't play on that Marlins team with us, and we all went to play on in a travel league.
Yeah.
And we were called the Spartans. So we were the Spartans from 11 and 12-year-old seasons. And then my family ended up moving away, and I think they played one more season as the Spartans. But that was the team that I played on. I think I still have my Spartans t-shirts around here somewhere. We were going to have somebody make a quilt for us.
Nice.
But, we've got a few friends on Facebook who, actually, a lot of the guys, we were so close for those 3 years that I'm still friends with all those guys on Facebook, even though I moved away and I haven't seen them in years. Actually, I saw them a few years ago at a funeral in Utah. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was cool to actually get to see those guys after, golly, it had been 15 years since I'd seen them. And,
that's cool.
And yeah, we were so tight because we played together for so long. We started practicing February or March, something like that, and then we played all the way through the summer until my coach couldn't find another tournament for us to play in. And it was a blast. We had double headers every Saturday, plus we play in tournaments, and I caught every single one of those games.
That's awesome.
So bad. And then, I'd still play City League, and when I was 12, the City League, I went and played City League with another one of my friends somewhere because they needed a catcher, so I went and caught and played shortstop for them. We were the Yankees then.
Oh, you got the Holy Grail.
I fought one of the guys for number 2. Almost full on fist fight for number 2. And yeah, I played so much baseball those 3 years. So much. It was insane.
Awesome.
But in fact, I kind of got burnt out because when we moved to Washington at that point, and I was like, I'm not playing this year. I am not. And so my dad was like, you know what? He's like, just give it one more try. He's like, I'll talk to your coach, tell him that you don't want to catch this year. And sorry, I'm kind of going off the rails here a little bit, but he's like, I'll tell him that you want to try something else, and he's like, just see how you do. And so I started out the season in the outfield, slowly worked my way into the infield, and then the kid who was our catcher got hurt, and they're like, well, I know you don't want to, but we need you to catch.
Yeah.
So I ended up catching the rest of the season.
Oh, of course.
And then I ended up catching the next year because the coaches knew that I did. And then I ended up catching in high school, and I fell back in love with it. But yeah, I was just like, man, I tried so hard to play outfield or third base. I ended up catching every single time. But yeah, awesome. So it was the Spartans was my team. The Spartans was my team, and there was one team when I was 12 that we could not beat. Because there were a few kids on that team who were a little bit older than the rest of us. Yeah, they just because their birthdays, they were all in the same grade, but because their birthdays they were essentially a year older than us. So we had to play every year. We played a league up from where we were. Right. And this one team I specifically remember is the Snappers, and for the long time I had no idea where they got that name, but it's a minor league team, right?
I don't know.
They would beat the tar out of us every single time. Like, to the point that they would just hit bombs off of our pitchers. And there was a couple times the kids came. There was one kid in particular who came in, and he was, like, really high on himself, really cocky. And he would, like, make faces at me as he's touching home plate, and I'd get so mad at these guys. But then, finally, our last game we played against them, we beat them.
Yeah!
We beat them. We beat the Snappers as the Spartans.
That's awesome.
That was pretty rad. But so I would consider them our biggest rival. My favorite memory, though, as far as that goes, man, it was just like, it was so much fun. Like, I'm not kidding you. Even though we lost a bunch of games because we were so overmatched, we would go play in tournaments for our age group, and we would clean up.
Yeah, bad.
We cleaned up because we were so used to facing bigger, like, not just like tougher competition, but they were bigger than us. They were so much bigger than us. And so we just had a ton of fun. We'd goof around in the dugout, and when everybody on the team found out I was moving that fall, one of the kids, I'll never forget this conversation. He's like, we're just going to chain you to the backstop. We'll come bring it. We'll bring you some food throughout the day. But we're going to chain you to the backstop so you can't move. I was like, well, what if we're playing and, like, I need to get the ball? He's like, oh, it'll be a long chain. You'll have plenty of room to move. Yeah. He's like, in fact, it'll be just long enough that you can reach second base, but no longer than that.
You could reach second base.
He's like, you're gonna live at the baseball field for the rest of your life. As long as we need you, we're gonna live at the baseball field. So
that's awesome. That sounds like the dream,
that
man.
Didn't end up working. So
yeah,
didn't end
right.
up happening. But that was my team. It was a ton of fun. Tons of fun playing with those guys. Love them all to death. Even to this day. But let's move on to our next question because I took enough time there. Okay,
it's all good. I'm glad you brought some happiness into my dour story. I have happy stories from playing.
I hope
baseball.
so. I mean, you love baseball as much as you do. I think there'd be some happy stories playing.
Yeah, there's a lot of happy stories, but that's my most potent memory.
Sounds like. Man.
Anyway, right.
So next question.
Yeah,
so
next
first,
question.
Let's preface this for anybody who didn't see it. Anybody who didn't see the picture that Brig posted, he said, just encouraging everybody to submit to the mailbag. He's holding a Bang energy drink. Got mine right here in my hand right now. But he's wearing a Santa hat. A little bangarang, yep. So he's wearing a Santa hat, and Denise Cantu says, why is the fuzz on your Santa hat gray? I think that is probably the best question we've ever had submitted to the mailbag.
I agree.
Why is the fuzz on your Santa hat gray, Brig?
So it's a good story. It's long. It's kind of long. I'll try and cut it down. Have you seen Christmas Chronicles?
Oh, we just watched it last night with Wilson.
Okay, so that's my new Jingle Jam, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's one of my new favorite Christmas movies. For those of you that don't know, Netflix produced it last year. It came out last year, and Kurt Russell plays Santa Claus, and
he's the best Santa. I mean,
literally slays it.
Yeah, like I might put him above. I'm probably gonna put him above Tim Allen as the best Santa. I'll be honest.
Tim the Toolman Santa was awesome,
yes.
but Kurt Russell is like my man Santa, you know. So, and I'm a blues man. I love blues music. And so when he gets in the jail and sings the blues, I was like, oh, man, blues Christmas music is the best. Blues Christmas music is really hard to find. Anyway, so we saw the movie, and I looked at Tiffany, and I went, oh, my gosh, I got to have a hat like that. I have to have a hat like that. And she said, I think I could probably make it for you. I could probably make you one. I said, what? So I ran out to the fabric store, the craft store, and I went to 3 fabric stores looking for the right fur to match Kurt Russell's hat. Could not find the right color of rabbit fur. His is legit. Anyway, so this gray fur that I found, it looks fabulous. The picture here does not do it justice on the group, but it just looks great. So anyway, my wife ended up making it. It's got a silk lining with kind of a paisley pattern on it that I picked out, and I picked out all the pieces, and she put it together for me, and I wear it every day all December, all last year,
That's awesome.
all this year. Yeah,
that's amazing.
like I'm dropping my kid off at school, and wearing my Santa hat, going pick her up wearing the Santa hat. So all the parents are either avoiding eye contact with me or giving me the whole eyebrow thing, like, yeah, you're that guy, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, 'tis the freaking season.
You bet your bippy I'm that guy. Hello.
Hello. Do you see the smile on my face? So that's why it's
Holly
great,
jolly.
Denise.
That's awesome, and I think it looks sharp. To be honest with you, I really like the way it looks, and I'm gonna plug the shop real quick. There, some of those raglan shirts on the shop have that same red with like that gray.
Yeah,
and
they
I'm
do.
a sucker for that combination. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good looking hat. Good
Thanks,
looking
man.
Santa hat.
The next question came from my wife, Tiffany. She said, let's discuss how in the world some teams, cough, cough, can afford to pay a player upwards of $295 million. Brad, tell me, what is going on? I mean, we talked about it a lot already today, but what's your opinion on this?
But it comes from TV, man. TV dollars. Like part of the reason the Yankees are so rich is because of the Yes Network. I mean, they've got the most densely populated metropolitan area in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They've got subscribers for the Yes Network. People are willing to pay for advertising on that network. So Yes Network the Yankees own the network, but they're raking in money from the Yes Network. And that's where the money comes from. That's why they can pay people. Like a few years ago, I saw a headline for the Mariners that said that they came to a deal specific to DirecTV.
Yeah.
I stood up, I cheered, I said, yes, payroll, man, payroll. and that was about the time they made that Cano deal.
Yeah.
I think they made the Cano deal like a year or two after that. And I was like, there it is. Like, it's not going to the right guy, but they're spending it. Like,
they have more to spend.
Guys, but yeah, they have more money to spend because of the TV deal. And, some of that comes from obviously across the league as far as like revenue sharing and ticket sales, things like that. But TV is the big part of it. And the thing that's interesting is that over the next few years, that's going to change because of cord cutting.
Yeah, cord cutting
and and I think that might be part of the reason we're going to see we could see a salary cap too, is because the TV deals will change. I think it was somebody in the NFL or the NBA said they just negotiated their last traditional TV contract. That after this, it's going to be all streaming stuff because that's the new way people consume sports.
That's right.
And Major League Baseball, you obviously have MLB TV, where you can stream all the games, but you can't stream in your network or in your market.
Yep.
I think that might change with the collective bargaining agreement if they come up with some kind of new way to do that. Your price will probably go up.
Yeah,
because they've got to make up for what they're not getting as far as local TV deals. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to be seeing in the future.
Well, and then you got to figure merch. Nobody has to share the revenue on merch.
Yeah, some of it comes from merch, and like you said, that's revenue sharing. Is I believe that's spread across the league. That like because the Nats sold more Rendon and Strasburg and Scherzer jerseys this year doesn't mean that their payroll goes up. The payroll as far as the league goes up because everybody else gets that money.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it's not that.
Yeah, but
it is broadcast rights.
Yeah, I think it's all broadcast rights. That if you've got the local TV deal, then you've got the highest payroll. and that's why the Yankees pay so much money for their players. That's why they can buy all those guys. It's because they have the money from that TV deal from all those people in that metropolitan area. And same thing with the Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
Like the Dodgers, yes, they were bought for a couple $2 billion, and they have a wealthy ownership group, but at the same time, LA is a densely populated, highly populated area, metropolitan area, and they're benefiting from the TV deals. And I don't think the Angels benefit from that as much, being a little bit farther south. And I think that's part of the reason they changed their name to LA, so they can get into that market and claim some of that TV revenue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But because I think it was about that time, when did they change to the LA Angels of Anaheim? Was that about the time they signed Pujols?
I have no idea.
I'm going to look it up real quick.
I've chosen to distance myself from that decision.
That was horrible, because they're not the LA Angels of Anaheim anymore. Now they're just the LA Angels, which is like, yeah, okay,
bad.
Whatever. But
it's all bad. They're not even in LA.
Anaheim is part of the
LA Metro
area.
Yeah.
But they're in Anaheim, and it's like an hour and a half south driving, which, if there's no traffic, it'd probably take you 20 minutes, but whatever.
Yeah.
So let's see. So they changed over to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in 2005. And they signed Albert Pujols, or is Chris Berman. So I was watching a Cardinals game. This is a long time ago. I think I had to have been in high school. Chris Berman was broadcasting the game.
Yeah, that for sure was in high school. Yeah.
He called him Albert Winnie the Pujols. That was seriously one time, and ever since then, it's so funny.
Yeah,
so funny.
I will never think of him differently now.
Yeah,
Albert Winnie the Pujols. No,
yeah, that's absolutely.
That's really good. And Boomer Berman's good at that kind of stuff.
He is. And his whole introduction to that game cracked me up. He said, "I'm coming out of the bullpen hoping to go 5 1/3, but we'll see how it goes." And then he went down the lineup and said, "Albert Winnie the Pujols batting third," and all of it was seamless because he's so good at it.
Yeah, he is.
So that's Albert Pujols signed with the Angels in 2012, so that was 7 years after the change. So they were benefiting from LA Metro TV deals,
broadcast
money.
Huh.
And obviously benefiting now with the Trout deal and Rendon. So
yeah, and Ohtani, he's not hurting.
Yeah,
publicity.
Exactly. Ohtani got a pretty good deal, and he's getting some. I'm sure he's getting some advertising money as well. But yeah, that's where it all comes from. I walked in probably 5 circles to get back to it. But yeah, it's TV money. That's all it is. That if you can't negotiate the TV deal, then you're not going to have the payroll.
And then the Yankees own the network that's selling the TV deal, so they don't have to coordinate with and split any of the money up. It's all theirs.
Because they only have to give so much to the Knicks because they're in a salary cap league, so then the rest of it just goes to the Yankees. But yeah, so they have a few teams they're sharing with, but as far as like the way that it goes, since the Yankees own the network, they just dump it all there.
Same with the radio is owned by, I think the Yankees own the radio broadcast as well, because it's the Yankees radio network.
Yeah.
Driven by Jeep.
Oh, by Jeep.
Yeah.
Neat.
Just John will tell you. You just listen. He'll tell you.
That's right. Yeah.
John and Susan, they're always telling us about Jeep.
Absolutely. But there's your answer, Tiff. TV,
yeah, babe.
That's where it's at, and like we said, it'll be interesting to see how things change with cord cutting in the future and increased streaming services. I don't know that money will necessarily go down as our streaming service costs will go up, but maybe a salary cap will help with that. That's one more reason for us to hope for salary cap.
Yeah, we got a lot of reasons. Yep.
Yeah, because it'll help with the costs of us A, going to games, B, paying for streaming services. If that's how you consume your baseball.
It is how I consume mine.
Me too.
We bought a TV. We bought an LG TV, put it on the wall above the fireplace. It's this monster, stupid, huge thing, and because you got to get the one that fits the space. So anyway, got this stupid. Look, we didn't own a TV for like 6 years.
Oh, really?
And then we moved into this house, and there's this big space above the fireplace. And for me, I want to watch the World Series, the Olympics, religiously, by the way. I'm a super junkie for the Olympics. I want to watch the Super Bowl, and I watch the Army-Navy game. That's it. And then the daily baseball stuff. But that's like, we don't watch TV for anything but those sporting events. Oh, and the Oscars. Oh, we watch the Oscars. But anyway, we that's it though. And we have this TV sits on the wall and does a whole bunch of nothing until days like
until baseball season.
Until baseball season. Anyway, so we bought this TV. It's LG, and one of the apps that was advertised for it when we bought it in I think we bought it in December. It said MLB TV compatible. We're like, oh, nice. Sweet. Come spring training, we get a notification. I go to turn on the MLB TV app. And they said, sorry, our contract has expired with MLB TV and LG.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, I'm looking at this TV now I've had for almost, 4 months or 6 months or whatever. And I'm like, gosh dang it. So now I still have to hook up my damn laptop to the big, huge TV, smart TV that I bought to put on the wall just to watch baseball.
I think you can get a Roku.
But I gotta buy a Roku.
It's cheap. It's like $20. A Roku's not very expensive. I mean, we have an Apple TV, which is more expensive.
Yeah.
But we can use it with all of our devices. But that's another story. But no, it has MLB TV on there, and then
I know.
So that's how I watch baseball when I'm out in the living room.
Yeah.
And then when I'm in my room, I watch it on the Xbox.
Xbox
One app.
But I bought a centralized streaming device. I bought a thing that is supposed to do all of the things, and now it doesn't, Brad.
I know, and that's the problem with smart TVs is that, like, you buy it for all that stuff. Like, our smart TV that we've had for a while, it had Netflix, Hulu, Prime, all that. And then I went to watch Hulu one day, and it wasn't working anymore. I was like, wow, that's fantastic. And shortly after that, I moved the Xbox into the bedroom so we could do that stuff. But yeah, it's
but now crazy. We're going to have to own 4 different devices just to watch Disney Plus and
that's
ESPN.
That's another reason for you to get a Roku.
And you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, jeez. It's stupid.
Go get yourself a cheap Roku or a Fire Stick or something. I don't know.
They just need to make all of the streaming apps available across all devices.
Oh, right. Yeah, yes, because that's one thing that drives me crazy. If I want to watch, if there's a game on Fox that I want to watch, I can't watch it in the living room because there's no Fox app on my Apple TV.
See?
I have to either go into the bedroom or AirPlay from YouTube TV on my phone, and I don't want to do that. It drains my phone battery.
Yeah, see? And now, but do you have cable or satellite?
No.
See? You're already cutting your cord.
We are complete cord cutters.
See, we're not, because I got fight night next week and the Army-Navy game's today. I was going
to say the Army-Navy game today, so.
Yeah, go Army.
Go Army.
No, Brad, that's when you say beat Navy. See, I say go Army, you say beat Navy.
Beat Navy. I don't know how it works.
Brad, stop. Listen. Let's do it again. Start over. Go Army.
Beat Navy.
There, with vigor, Brad.
Oh. I have no dog in this fight.
You do now. Ready? Go Army.
Beat Navy.
Yes. Okay.
No.
All right. I feel better.
I am a self-proclaimed college football atheist.
What?
I have no football team. I have no college football team.
See, I'm an NFL atheist.
And that's cool. College football has been way more enjoyable since I stopped cheering for anybody.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're not against the NFL, or you're not against college football. Oh. You just don't affiliate anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it's because we went to a school that doesn't have a football team.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And so I'm like, whatever. Like, I can watch an Alabama game, and if Alabama wins, I don't get upset. It doesn't matter who wins games. Like, I'm strictly watching for the entertainment factor.
How many people out there feel that way about baseball?
That's a good question. Because I mean, I can watch any baseball game. I can sit down and just watch a game.
But you don't get hyped on it unless it's the Mariners.
Oh, and I get hyped on the Mariners. Like I used, like
right?
I don't get hyped on any sport like I do when I watch the Mariners.
See, and that's how it is for me when the Yankees play.
But the thing is, I'm so used to losing as a Mariners fan that I also don't go the opposite direction when they lose. I'm like, well, it's just another day, whatever. Sure as the sun came up this morning, the Mariners will lose tonight because that's the way it goes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
what a morbid existence.
Yeah, a little bit. But just holding on hope. Just holding on hope that one of these days it will all turn around.
Well, they tried to turn it around by giving Robbie Cano some performance enhancers, but that didn't work out.
Well, and see, the GM who signed him, when they fired him, the owner said, it was either the owner or the president said, we want to hire somebody who's not trying to learn on the job. I was like, oh.
Whoa.
Wow, that's strong.
Man.
That is strong.
Yeah,
because
that's pretty
he
rough.
clearly had no idea what he was doing.
Wow.
No idea. With the deals that he made, the way he put those teams together. So bad. And now you got DePoto, who helped put together the Rangers when they went to the World Series, helped put together the Angels, who, haven't been good for a while, but I think they put together a playoff team with them. But
yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah. So and the Mariners came within a game 2 years ago.
It's true.
And he said, you know what? This team has hit its ceiling. Tear it all apart. Start over again. Yeah. I am saying, you ready for this?
Yeah.
I am proclaiming on the Baseball Together podcast today that the Mariners will make the playoffs in 2021. Yes, it will have been 20 years since their last playoff appearance. However, that team will contend for a World Series.
They will contend for a World Series in 2021.
Yes, they will. So let it be written, so let it be done.
Okay.
Proclamation.
Jeez, you heard it here first, folks. And with that, I'm going to say that if you haven't checked out the new prices on the shop, go ahead and do that. The hats are down. I dropped hat prices the other day and didn't tell anybody because I wanted it to be a podcast exclusive reveal.
That's a surprise. Nice.
Yeah, Brad didn't even know.
I didn't.
So go ahead, shop.9plusus.com. Pick yourself something nice. You know you deserve it.
Yeah, I got my Baseball Together sweatshirt coming this week. Pretty excited
it shipped. It shipped yesterday.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to wear that. But speaking of Baseball Together, don't forget to stop by baseballtogether.com. I'm actually working on something right now that I've been taking my time on it because I didn't want to rush it. It's going to be a surprise, but I'm going to have it up this week. Okay?
Ooh. Oh.
So be sure to stop by baseballtogether.com. I'll share it across the VIP group. If you want to join the VIP group, just let us know. Search 9plusus VIPs on Facebook. Submit or send us a request. We'll add because you're a baseball family. We want people to come in and join our group.
We have the best group ever.
And you can also find the podcast on the group. You can find the podcast on baseballtogether.com. And don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review. And baseball family, we will catch you next week.